What's up, Tesla family? It's Ray J back with another video. And in this one, I want to break down what's happening with Tesla SPY and the markets. I'm also going to talk about something very important involving Tesla sales data that's coming out. I have some charts and numbers I want to show you guys involving the Chinese sales so far, what's happening in Europe, and how things could be looking for Tesla sales in the future. But just know that I am not a financial planner, so make sure you take nothing I say as financial advice. And also, if you guys can, please check out my Moomoo link. If you deposit $100, you're guaranteed 5 free stocks. If you deposit $1,000, you're guaranteed 15 in total, not to mention 8.1% APY in uninvested cash. The offer ends in just 4 days. Anyways, let's talk about the market. So, as far as Tesla's going, as you guys can see, Tesla's still showing some weakness as we have a lower high being made. There should be an attempt to rebound as soon as Monday comes, but we'll be watching to see if we make a lower high near our 20 EMA or very close to our 0.382 fib retracement area, which is very close to this, before we start to make a move lower. So I'll be watching that very closely. But even if Tesla does start dipping a little bit, okay, if we do get some kind of like pullback on Monday and Tuesday, if that does happen, especially because like SPY also has this like head and shoulders, so does ES. There's a left shoulder here, this head and the right shoulder. That does not guarantee anything because you have to remember that we have deliveries coming out next week. So even if Tesla does start dipping a bit, it could still see a massive bounce if deliveries are very strong. If deliveries are weak, we could also be looking for a bigger rug pull. So you want to keep that in mind. What do I think about Tesla? What do I think is going to pan out? So here's my very important analysis of this. For those who are curious and asking me these questions, I can't really say way too much with certainty because we still have a couple of days left for the quarter. We're not necessarily done yet, so data is still coming out. So it's not necessarily comprehensive or sufficient yet. But just know that Troy Tesla, who tends to give very, very good data about what Tesla's looking like in terms of their sales, he's going to be giving his estimates on December 31st, and then Tesla's going to release their actual numbers on January 2nd. So please mark those dates down. I also want to say that with the way things are looking, European sales have been a little bit lackluster. They are showing some signs of life towards the end of this quarter. And then China, the sales are looking pretty good in China, so that could really offset everything. So my view is very simple. We'll be waiting for the data to get more comprehensive looking charts. But for now, I'll be talking about what we have. Just know this, looking at the fact that their sales were a little bit weaker during the earlier parts of this year, to offset that, Tesla needs 514,925 deliveries this quarter to avoid a decline in their total yearly deliveries. Now, there's two ways to interpret this. Anything above 500,000 or 500,000 would be good to some extent because it's the first time Tesla's ever delivered over 500,000 in one single quarter. That would be very, very awesome news. But even if they do up just 500,000, it would still be a decline because of the fact that their sales earlier were a little bit weaker. And then we need to do at least close to 515,000 for us to see at least some kind of gain compared to last year. Now, looking at the European sales, at least in a lot of European countries, this doesn't include everything, but this is just a lot that I've found. You guys can see that Tesla sales have been increasing towards the end of every single quarter. And this time around, you guys can see that for Q4, they're a little bit weaker compared to like other periods. We started off a little bit stronger compared to like other quarters, but then the very end so far isn't quite there. Hopefully, we get a big push for the final week of December to really offset this. So I really hope we get a big push. The data is yet to come out. This is just data as of the 22nd of December. So hopefully, we get a big push for many European countries. Besides that, we have the Chinese data right over here. So this is the total Chinese sales. I just want to say the data is looking very strong for this quarter. So we're getting good looking numbers in China. If you look at this, is based off the insurance registrations reports. You could see that we started off the quarter on a lower end, but then as time went on, because of the fact that Tesla announced more price cuts in China, especially for the Model Y and the Model 3, this is what's helping the sales really boost alongside other incentives. So if you look at the total deliveries, this is looking like one of the strongest quarters Tesla's had in its history in China so far, where we currently report about 177,000 total sales, at least. I'm sorry, not sales, but insurance registrations technically. In total, at least for the quarter, compared to other quarters, this is quite higher. So hopefully we get a big push for the very end to make a new record, and that could really offset the European slowdown. When you look at the numbers like this, once again, look at the months. So you guys could see we have all the months right here, the first, second, and third months for every single one of our quarters. So look at the last couple of bars here. You guys could see that the first month of the quarter, which happened to be the month of October, Tesla had a pretty decent looking October in China. This is like very close to what we typically get, better than what we saw in both Q2 and also like during the end of Q4 of last year. Then our sales in November were very strong in China, very strong looking numbers in November. You guys can see how big this orange bar is right over here. Once again, surpassing pretty much all the other quarters. Now we're waiting for the December numbers, and just know it's looking pretty good so far because I think the status as of December 22nd, we still had like another 9 days left, and they already have had the second best quarter in history in terms of their insurance registrations. Besides Q3, this is for the full quarter. The full quarter is not out yet for Q4. We're still waiting for more sales to come in. So we could easily surpass those sales and look for new highs. We could even see the sales get very close to like the 190 something thousand plus mark, if not higher, closer to 200,000. That would be bullish for Tesla if that really helps to offset Europe. That's a very, very good piece of news. And then I think there's more charts right over here. Going back, we can actually look at a couple more. Look at the insurance data right here. If you look at week 13, there tends to be a slight increase during the final week. So hopefully we get a big increase for the final week in the Chinese sales. That could really help these things go right back up. I think I saw the majority of these. We also have this chart right over here, the data over the year. So I'm going to look at this in a new tab just to make this easier to see. So what's good about this is when you zoom in, this is like the total weeks for the whole year. And you guys could see how the quarters are comparing. Each of the bars are different colors that represent a different year. And you guys can see the red bars start to show a lot of growth right here during the end period. And I think that if you look at the red bars, they're pretty strong for 2024 for Q4 right here. So it's looking promising. China's looking very promising for this year. Europe is looking decent, not as strong. So hopefully China offsets Europe. And as long as the American sales are decent, we're going to be completely fine. Besides that, there's been a lot of talk, and I want to clarify something very important. Gary Black has been saying that there is a risk for Tesla in 2025, which is going to be the loss of the $7,500 EV tax credit, which could hurt Tesla to some extent. Investors could be a little bit wary of that. But here's the thing. There are people who are questioning if that's still affecting Tesla. The answer is yes and no. So no, because right now we still have a couple of days left for the year. For now, the EV tax credit is going to remain in place until we see some kind of shifts during the next administration. So that's going to be very important, something worth mentioning. However, when we get to 2025, that's when we could be looking for that to disappear. That's most likely what's going to be happening. There are people out there who are in denial because of the fact that Musk is involved in politics, but there's actually records of Musk saying that he's in favor of that. He's okay with that, with the $7,500 tax credit, being eliminated, because he has described that although it may affect Tesla to some extent, it's going to have a bigger effect on their competitors. And then Tesla is not as worried about that because the robotaxi is coming out, and that's going to help boost their sales. So he's still completely fine with that, and I do agree with him. For the longer term, Tesla will be fine despite what's happening with the tax credits. At least despite what may end up happening, what most likely will happen. It's not 100% confirmed yet until we see the policy change. That's what I'm going to say. I like to wait for something to come into effect before officially making the claim. So with that being said, I mean, for the short term, this will affect Tesla sales, especially as we start off 2025. We could see a slowdown because of the fact that the tax credit is going to be eliminated, most likely. However, if it doesn't happen, that would be bullish. And even if it does happen, right, it's not the end of the world, because the long term for Tesla with their new products, such as the development of AI and their robotaxi, will help to offset that, because that's going to generate a lot more revenue, and that's going to be a very, very different stream for them. So not too worried. I'm not really worried about this for the long term. I think Tesla's going to be completely fine. For the short term, if we do truly see the tax credits being ended, the $7,500 tax credit for EVs, that would be a little bit bearish for Tesla. It might not be the best of news. But anyways, I don't want to focus too much on that. For now, we're just going to focus on their sales. So what do I think is my prediction? Here's my answer, guys. I'm not going to give my prediction yet until like the very last day of the year. We're still waiting a couple of days to get those final numbers in, especially the Chinese registrations numbers. I want to wait for those as well. Hopefully we get a new record in China. I think we most likely will break records in China. Not too sure about Europe and the US yet. European sales look decent, but the US is going to be a big factor in this. So we'll see how it goes. Hopefully Tesla surpasses at least 515,000. I personally think that they should be surpassing 500,000. I'm seeing a lot of predictions above that, so I really hope we surpass that. But I'm not sure about 515,000 or so. I'm not 100% sure about that quite yet. So we'll see about that. But for now, that's your preview. So far, the Chinese numbers look strong. The European numbers are coming back up right now. But let's see how they end up looking towards the end of the quarter. So don't forget, the numbers come out officially on January 2nd, and that's going to be the next major catalyst for Tesla. If Tesla dips a little bit with the market, sure, that's going to be completely fine because the sales are what's going to matter a lot more. So just keep that in mind. We'll see how things end up going for them. And that's my preview for now of how things are looking. I will make another part to this. So part two of this video will be coming out in a couple of days once we get more data. But based off the data we have right now, things are looking promising, especially in China. But we'll have to wait and see if Tesla can surpass these key numbers. Let's see how other pieces of data come out and how they look in the future. Until then, I thank you all so much for listening and peace out.